Hello everyone, welcome to another live stream with Doc Hook Flying. We are here in beautiful, well not so beautiful today, but you know, still a great little state in the city of Dallas currently. And we are set up on 36 right, as you'll see here. And we're setting up to go on our flight. It is flight, one second, because now I've forgotten it. I wonder how often that happens. 1070. So 1070 is our flight number. I'm going to get us onto VATSIM real quick. As soon as then I'm going to load my flight. You got to file your flight plan. It's all very, by the book on the VATSIM. Is my computer going to survive? Oh boy. Yep, we are not. What's going on? We are frozen. Hey, there we go. Alright. Whew. Alright, we got out of that one. Sorry for the delay, folks. That was a long loading session. I checked the performance of the computer when everything got set up, and it was fine. I don't understand it. But regardless, let's get our clearance from DFW. We just... Oh, crap. It's actually controlled right now, and I did not know that, so I am disconnecting. And we're not going to do that part of VATSIM, just because I don't want to go all the way back to the gate just to go through some dumb procedure. So, if you want to see the full startup and everything else from the gate, I have that video. And it's located there. So we're going to go ahead and execute on our perf settings. Init settings are good. Let's see where we're at. 25.2 for our center of gravity. Punch our V speeds in here. Let's make sure our trim lines up right about 4.9. So we need to set at 4 now. So we need to come on up a little bit. There it is. Alright, and we're going to set flaps at 5 degrees. Alright, release our parking brake. There we go. I think we are good to go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's really tune in and listen to the fantastic engines on this 737, huh? Throttle set. It really is going to be amazing if my computer makes it through all of this. I will be shocked. But if you guys like, comment, subscribe, maybe one day I can afford a real computer. And then we won't have these jobs. Rotate. Let's see where we're at. Here we go. Gears up. Positive rate 5. $10 degrees. I'm going to keep our nose right at about 10 degrees. We are on our way to Chicago. I do like the airport in Chicago, I will say that. But it is, once again, one of those airports that has a lot of runways and really screws with me sometimes. drop it in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. ORD has a lot of runways. There we go. We went and just put it in autopilot because I was talking too much and I didn't want to get distracted. So here we go. And then once we get out of the tower's control airspace, we will then go back to being online. Because, again, I did not want to deal with that. Once we're about 10,000 feet, we'll turn on our TCAS and our VATSIM. Because I was a bad boy who did not want to go through the procedures of leaving, let's go ahead and punch in our arrival destination. I like to do this early, probably a lot earlier than most traditional pilots would, but I don't know. You guys tell me. I like to kind of just go ahead and have everything punched in. Maybe people do it at the gates while they're waiting for the passengers to load. That would make probably the most sense, right? But, you know, not a professional pilot over here. Alright, there we go. We are above 10,000 feet. We're probably going to go ahead and cut on VATSIM and see what's going on out there. I hope my audio is all fixed and you guys are picking me up 5x5. Please drop it in the chat if anything is wrong. Thank you. Now, let's go and get our VATSIM started. Connect. Boom. Wonder how quick I'm going to get yelled at. Let's go ahead and tune into Memphis Center. We'll probably start getting some stuff even before we get to them. Let's see, Memphis Center is 132.55. So we'll dial this up to 132. And then, oh, this way would be easier. Go all the way down to 0.55. There we go. Good to go.
Altimeter 3012, expect visual approach runway 2 right.
Look at that. Alright, then, like we were in the middle of, when we hit 10,000, we will set our runways up.
China Eastern 2008, Memphis Center.
I picked RNAV 10 Center, or at least that's what we got assigned. No idea how to pronounce that, the star, so we're just gonna call it what it is. Turtle, maybe? And then Welts transition. Wow. Chicago, you guys are nailing it for names. Alright, there we go. Oh, and we'll turn our TCAS on. Even though I forgot to get a code, well, more like I skipped the part of getting a code. So I'm a bad, bad boy.
FedEx 4218, welcome to message. Turn left when able. Contact approach 12518.
Our cruising altitude, I believe, is 370. So we're set at 375 because it'll, well, just set it right. And there we go.
China Eastern 2008.
All good for cruise. Switch over to standard. What that is a standard barometric pressure that basically just sets your altimeter to say, hey, we're high enough to not be worried about 2 feet or so. So that's the deal with that. Alright, I'm gonna stop talking for a little bit. You guys go ahead and drop anything in the chat. How you guys are doing? How's your life going? What's happening? How are you feeling? Even if you just want to let us know you're still alive, we're here to hear it. But I do hope everybody's doing well today. Happy Friday. End of August. We're already done with summer. Well, it feels like we're done with summer, at least here in North Carolina. It's kind of a cold snap. So anyway, I was thinking about doing long hauls coming up with, I also write sci-fi books. I was going to read a few of them. I wanted to see what you guys might think of that if, on a long haul, once you get up to cruise level, we could read some books or whatnot. I feel like it'd probably be a pretty relaxing thing. You guys let me know. Comment down below what you think, if that's a good idea, if somebody's doing something like that I can maybe reference. As I've mentioned, I am so open to feedback. So please let me know. Love you guys.
American 1444, radar contact 51 miles, west Fort Smith, DLR, flight level 30, contact maintained, flight level 370. Shining 2008, this is my 4th and 5th time trying to reach you, sir. Descend to get a Chesney 2 arrival, National 90 North, National Altimeter 3012.
Sorry guys, I forgot to mention we are actually still in the old style stainless steel American 738 It is such a cool livery, however you pronounce it. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'll go ahead and show you guys this as well while we're on it. Here's the VATSIM radar we're looking at here. Here's our flight. You see we're listening currently to Memphis Center. Our flight plan is probably going to take us just skirting that. So we'll have to wait and see if anybody comes on at Indianapolis Center, St. Louis, or Chicago Center. Now, looks like Midway has a tower active, but no current people at. Nope, not calling me yet. So yeah, this is the VATSIM radar. So this is all the virtual sim flyers that are currently flying right now. It's pretty crazy, right? All of those simmers. Anyway, so that's what I'm looking at over here on the side to kind of understand where we're going into.
American 193 radar contact 22 miles north Harrison, VLR, flight level 3606, final.
You see, he won't call us until we're probably here, closer to. Yeah. He won't hit us up until we're closer to his station.
Allegiant 1938, going to maintain 3000. American 311, back. heading 290 vector final on the rollout to National Airport will be 1 to 2 o'clock, 8 miles from the building site. Legion 1938 on the rollout, National Airport will be 1 to 2 o'clock, 8 miles.
Agile operator coming in hot saying, hey buddy, how's it going? Again, if share this out with your friends. A lot of people find this pretty relaxing to just kind of listen to this and veg out. My voice, however, you know, people could take it or leave it. Coming in hot saying, hey buddy, how's it going? Again, if share this out with your friends. Oops. A lot of people find this pretty relaxing. Sounds good at least. That's so cool.
Legion 1938, contact National Tower 118.6, 18.6, see ya.
I think PMDG did a excellent job with their 737. What do you guys think?
United 3792, request step 5 flight 1360. United 3792, final maintain flight 360. Maintain flight 1360, United 3792.
Yes, yes it is, Agile operator. Yes, they are. I think might be the best way of determining that. How is everybody doing? If there's anything you got going on in your life, put it in the chat. We'll put some prayers towards it. More positive energy has never been a bad thing. So, yeah, give it a shot if you like.
American 1970 arrival, good job. Oh yeah, we're ready to stop the American 193. American 193, clear to down to the airport via change Arnett, Eagle 4 arrival, read Arnett, Bridge Roger, 193 arrival, good job. Okay, so changing from changing the arrival to the bridge. Oh yeah, we're ready to stop the American 193, be back at the airport via change Arnett, Eagle 4 arrival, read Arnett, Bridge Roger. Okay, so changing from changing the arrival to the bridge. China Eastern 2008, welcome back. National Spaceship Quebec, current altimeter 3012, expect visual approach runway 27. Delta 7931, leading my airspace to the east, that line of closed, radar services terminated, exchange crew, see ya. contact, stay altitude. FedEx 1640, thank you. Climb and maintain, flight level 270, clear direct here.
Y'all, we're about 5 minutes out from this air traffic controller's area, so we'll see if he rings us up to check in or not. Or if he decides to yell at me for the skirting around the rules that I did in DFW during our departure. Wait and see. Wait and see.
China Eastern 2008, descend and maintain 3000, fly heading 09 0 vectors to final. Frontier Flight 4316, cross Russia at and maintain flight level 330. Frontier Flight 4316, Memphis Center. Frontier Flight 4316, Memphis Center.
And there, Memphis Center is requesting us to check in. He just sent me a VATSIM message, but we're going to go ahead and do it now. Alright. Memphis Center, this is American 1070, joining you at flight level 340 on my way to flight level 370 on our way to Chicago.
American 1070, Memphis Center, hello. I don't have a flight plan on file for it if you want to try resubmit it.
Yeah, one sec. Ladies and gentlemen, I definitely submit calls. definitely submitted it, but you know, it is what it is. Let's just do it real quick. VATSIM.
China Eastern
Right
2008,
here.
fly heading 070.
And
When you roll out, the national
File
airport will be 11 to 12 o'clock, approximately 13 miles, report the field site.
Memphis Center, American 1070. You should be able to see it now.
American 1070, yep, I got it now. Reset your transponder, squawk 1571.
Copy 1571, American 1070.
American 193, leaving my airspace to the west. Fort Worth is closed. Radar services terminated. Exchange approved. See ya.
Frequency change approved for American 193. See ya.
Frontier Flight 4316, Memphis Center. American 1070, radar contact 57 miles southwest, Razorback VOR, flight level 357. Climb and maintain, flight level 370.
Memphis Center, American 1070. Climb maintain 370.
China Eastern 2008, cleared visual approach runway 2 center. Frontier Flight 4316, Frontier Flight 4316. This is Memphis Center on guard. If you can hear me, contact Memphis Center 132.55. Respond via ident.
Ooh, get called out on guard. Never want that, ladies and gentlemen. That is always embarrassing. Oh, I'm betting that's China Eastern.
Lift on the 443. You do have traffic at your 12 to 1 o'clock, same direction of flight level 360 is 18 miles away.
Okay, position on my radar. Okay.
Lift on the 443, descend and maintain, flight level 340.
Descend and maintain for 340. Not the 440.
China Eastern 2008, contact National Tower 118.6. See ya.
So yes, as I was mentioning, we're now under control of Memphis Center is what that means. So basically that means he controls our flight from here on out. What altitude we cruise at and so on and so forth until we are out of his area of control. In the real world, I would be then handed over
4316, Memphis.
to like Chicago Approach or something at that point. But it doesn't look like anyone's going to be online handling that today, so we probably will just be released to be on that guard frequency you heard, because that addresses everybody.
Yeah, 37, I see approach the top of the steps. Who is approaching top of the steps? Yeah, 3792. Yeah, 3792, you're leaving my airspace to the south. Closed, radar search terminated, for exchange approved, see ya. Exchange approved, yeah, 3792, good day.
Lufthansa 443, now maintain flight level 340.
Lufthansa 443, thank you. You're leaving my airspace to the west. Fort Worth is closed. Radar services terminated. For exchange approved. See ya.
That's funny, that ended up being the Lufthansa flight instead of China Eastern. That's what I get for calling it out.
2812 FedEx 1640, see ya.
At least it's a great day for flying. It's gorgeous out here. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let's take a look around. See how the plane's doing.
American 1444, American 311, traffic point block opposite direction, 22 miles eastbound, American 320 at level 370, westbound, American 319 at level 360. Got one being out, American 311. Traffic check here. Thank you.
The Center American 2166, inbound Isaac, flight level 370.
American 2166, Memphis Center, radar contact as reported. Welcome. American 481, leaving my airspace to the west. Fort Worth is closed. Radar service is terminated for exchange period. See ya. American 481, leaving my airspace to the west. Fort Worth is closed. Radar service is terminated for exchange period. See ya.
The only thing that does suck about big airports is you never really get creative
What do you call American 481 here?
approach angles. You know, like you do with smaller airports, you get like tight turns or
American 10,
craziness.
appreciate you checking in. Leaving my airspace to the northwest. Kansas City is closed. Radar service is terminated for exchange period.
And there we
See ya.
are getting turned over to guard channel. For exchange approved. Have a good evening. Happy Friday.
See you soon.
And now we're over on guard where no one hears you scream. It's basically how it's run. It's the Wild West over here, ladies and gentlemen. You basically tune into unguarded frequency and report to whoever you're flying around if you're on the VATSIM world, because their airplane actually exists in the real world, or sorry, in your virtual world right beside you. So if you don't, you might actually have a mid-air collision, and nobody wants that. No virtual lives need to be lost today. Okay, so we are not crashing today. That is our motto. By the way, definitely don't forget to like and subscribe. You know, and all the things that a good YouTuber would tell you. A good YouTuber would tell you to do. You know, things like that. If you haven't noticed, I'm not the best vamper there ever was. But seriously, I would love to see this channel grow. I say this channel like I have multiple channels, but no, this is the only channel. Also, let me know about that. What do you guys think about the whole idea of reading some of my fiction books over longer flights? You know, drop a comment, let me know what you think. I thought it might be an interesting way of kind of promoting the book at the same time, and it could be relaxing I don't know. We'll see what it sounds like. But, you know, drop your thoughts or suggestions in the comments if you have any. Love to hear them. See where we are in the world, ladies and gentlemen. We are just outside of Springfield, Missouri. Fun fact about Springfield, Missouri, it is one of the theories of where the Simpsons are, you know, kind of based, as it were. That their Springfield is Springfield, Missouri. But it's never been, like, confirmed. There's so many Springfields around the United States that I don't think it's ever been really found out. Correct me if I'm wrong, but drop it in the chat. Oops. Put that button. Alright. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh, do you guys want to see this plane in real life? That might be a good idea. Check this out. This is the real life stainless steel livery. Livery. Y'all know I'm always gonna have an issue with that. That's pretty cool though, yeah. That's the real November 921 November that we are flying. The tail number of our airplane matches that one. So that airplane looks exactly like our airplane does. Just, you know, filled with real passengers for American Flight 1070. So if you're over the southern Springfield area, look up. If you see a Boeing 737 making some contrails over you, you know, that's us. Wave and say hi to our empty airplane. All right. So we're en route to Chicago. And the things that I'm doing during this flight is I'm checking the winds, updating ATIS every hour or so. I'm just seeing what the weather is like in Chicago, what it's going to look like, maybe what it's developing into. On the simulator side, I'm listening for VATSIM, but as you all know, we are currently uncontrolled, so we don't have any VATSIM connection. I should probably actually go to guard though. However, so I'm checking that stuff, and it looks like, based on our assigned runway of 10, that they're running east ops in Chicago, which I kind of really enjoyed, to be honest. When flying east, Chicago's running east ops. When flying west, Chicago's running west ops. But, you know, I'm bougie like that, I guess. But, you know, Chicago, ORD is a massive airport. You know, planned at TOD is to meet the first hard crossing clean without dragging it in, and then we'll hit that turn and have the Great Lakes basically as our horizon. You know, ORD, or you know, where we're going is ORD is Chicago O'Hare Airport. It sits northwest of downtown, so you'll actually see the grid lights in Lake Michigan as big dark bright edges to the east. Well, it's daytime, so you won't see that now, but you'll be able to call out Lake Michigan and the grids of the miles and miles of roads that grid the Chicagoland area. We're going to be running about 210 knots down the pipe, and then we'll turn it to about 170 and to the marker to then land at about 145 knots. You know, the Boeing 737 does have a rather flat angle of attack when it comes to final approach, I've always found. And or at least I've found that this plane handles better when on a less aggressive angle. So I usually try to land a 737 right at 4 or 5 degrees of pitch on final. So we're going to be going to flaps. We're going to do a flaps 4 setting, not a flaps 5. I rarely go all the way to 5 unless it's a very, very short runway, obviously. I'm going to show you this feature here, this calculation, this calculator, and walk you through it. Alright, and we're going to do auto brakes 2, and we have all operational reversers, so we're fine there. Let's do a little math and see where we're going to end up on our weight at landing. And a quick look here. Gross weight, you see, 147. But you see here we're still well off from TOD. So we're going to subtract probably a healthy 4 or 5 off of that. So let's go ahead and go with like a 142. There we go. And you see here that puts us landing at 7,691 feet with a VREF, so our speed reference of 152. However, with the wind correction, you see we added here, so we're doing a 5+5 addition to our 145 there, or sorry, 152 there. You come over here, you see, since it hasn't made the adjustment for the weight that we're going to be, it has our VREF even lower. So what I'm going to do is do a happy medium in between at 156. So we're going to go with flaps 30, 156 knots. Boom. Oh, that's why I hit 5 instead of a cross. So 156 knots, like I just said. There we go. Alright, so we got that portion of it taken care of. Let's go over here. We're going to have to set our barometric pressure that it will be in Chicago. You can see that here at 30.18 millibars or whatever. I don't know. I can't remember the different terminology between the two scales because I know one is different than millibars is all I'm trying to get at. Anywho, 30.18. So let's get that dialed in here. And then we'll use the charts to look up what we should be setting our minimums to. Alright. See here again. Welts, turtle, ORD, 10 center. Now let's pull up the rival charts here at ORD. Now you remember turtle, so we'll go ahead and pin that one. We'll take a look. Why not? I said pin. There we go. So you can see obviously why we're coming this way, coming from DFW. You see they even have they have holding areas set up over here because I'm sure so many flights from DFW every day. But you can see here on the chart for the star, right, that 5,000 feet is going to end up being our altitude that we're cruising this area at, right? Now let's go over and get, like I said, we're on east flow, so we won't even have to come out here and turn around. We'll be ready to just go to either Rhino or Kirk. We are going 10 center, so let's see, we will be going Rhino to Georgia to Monks, and I'll show you that now on our approach chart. You remember our runway was 10 center, so let's go 10 center. The RNAV chart, we're going to go ahead and pin all of them regardless of which one we decide to use, and that way we'll go over both of them. So you see, just like I mentioned, 5,000 feet really is where you're bottoming out until you get into your short final kind of deal, right? Let's go ahead and catch our minimums at 869. If you were going to keep it on VNAV all the way down, it would be 1062, so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and dial that in, 869. 869. Seriously, I gotta figure out if just like humming or like if singing a song but like the wrong lyrics but the right tune, as I'm known to do, will that get me copyrighted? I have no idea. And nobody wants that, right? Not that I'm ever gonna get whatever number of subscribers. But hey, check it out. Big news. Guess who has 19 subscribers as of today? Oh yeah, that's right. Doc Hook Flying does. Heyo. Help push this out, guys. Help this grow, see where it goes. Might be fun. Who knows what we're gonna end up talking about. So here we go. We got 869 dialed in. It always takes a little bit longer when it's your first flight of the day. See, we have our VREF speed printed in. So we are basically good for the arrival process as it's coming. Let's, real quick, I will show you the charts for actual ORD. That way I can reference where we will be landing. And we are in the 737, so we're in a little regional jet. Well, it's a very popular, but still regional jet, right? But it's not. That's a misspeaking. Because CRJs and your E-jets are your regional jets. So Boeings are full daddies. I just not really sure the term I'm looking for. So continental jets, maybe? I don't know. Drop some ideas down in the comments. We'll create a new term. Because clearly I don't want to use the official one, if there is an official one. Alright. You guys meditate on that for a little bit. we're going to give this a quick test. You guys let me know what you think about this. Kind of curious. This is my novel, Remainer, which is a post-apocalyptic sci-fi kind of thriller novel. If you enjoy it, it's available on Amazon. Again, it's called Remainer. It is part of the Exodus Protocol. Introduction. The end came quietly, without the fireworks we always imagined. There was no single flash, no countdown, no moment to point to and say, there, right there, is when it all ended. What remained was silence, and ash, and the staggering realization that those who left were never coming back. Remainer is not a story of heroes. It is a reckoning, a whispered prayer to no one, a chronicle of the ones who weren't chosen, who weren't saved, who didn't fit in the mold of tomorrow's perfect survivors, the ones left behind. Set in the smoldering aftermath of abandonment, this novel follows Johnny, Beth, Carmen, and Marlene, not as paragons of hope, but as deeply fractured people, trying to find meaning in a world that no longer pretends to offer it. Their story is one of grief, defiance, and reluctant connection. It is also about truth, buried beneath centuries of illusion, now clawing its way back to the surface. What happens to humanity when survival is no longer a given? When the myths of progress and destiny burn away? In Remainer, the answers are not clean. They are raw, haunted, and sometimes cruel, but they are honest. If you're looking for a catharsis, you might find it. If you're looking for redemption, you may be left waiting. But if you're looking for the heartbeat that echoes in the ruins, this is where it lives. Welcome to the end. Take a quick look outside here. Yeah. That's good. See, we're approaching TOD here. Let me know what you guys think about that section there. I'm kind of toying with that idea. I really like to get my books out there. I think they are halfway decent, so go buy them if you want to. Anyway, thank you for your thoughts on it, if you have any. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and, you see we're still about 80 miles from, really 100 miles from TOD, but we don't have any altitude steps, so we can go ahead and scroll those down to 1,000 or so. It doesn't really matter because, as you guys know, I always take over at 10,000 feet and hand fly it in myself because that's how you live, right? I also open up the cabin door and I say, yeah, let's get it. And people freak out because sometimes we end up doing a aircraft carrier landing. And I say, oops. And then I do not submit that PREP to my virtual airline hub manager. He does not want to see those ones. Dude, how are we opening this door? What's going on here? Can I grab that and just go to work? Smoke hood. Hell yeah, we getting lit in here. Journey on back. This is the time of the flight you'd see the pilot get out, take a piss, run down the end of the, stretch his legs a little bit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's exactly how that works. As I mentioned though, guys, this channel is new, it's young, or flexigent, as we used to say in the military. That is flexible and vigilant. So do that with me. But also, help me out, share it, like, comment, subscribe, share, do all the things that a good YouTuber would tell you to do. If I was one of those guys, what would they tell you to do? Yeah, do that, please. I do hope everybody's having a good day, though. It does seem to be pretty good weather across the country, so at least we got that going for us. Am I right? You guys know where the airport code ORD comes from for Chicago? It comes from Orchard Place, which was the older name of the field that it was built on. And then O'Hare is from Butch O'Hare, who was a World War II fighter ace. So that means he shot down 5 or more enemy pilots, which is badass. And I'm back. Uh-oh. We're getting pinged on VATSIM. Let's see what's going on here. Auto. Oh, okay. It's auto ATC, so nothing to worry about there. Chicago Center advises cross Maroc at flight level 240. No separation services provided. That. How's everybody doing in the chat? You guys good? Loving life? Everybody having a good time? Yeah? Happy Friday. Hope everybody had a great week. If you have anything that this group can pray on, let us know. We'll do it. If you have any suggestions for the channel, let us know. And we'll do those too. Oh, it's like Indianapolis Center came on. Let's see if we are in their zone. Just real quick. Oh, I don't have
Ladies and gentlemen, we are starting our descent. Please return your seat back to the tray table.
As you might hear from the flight attendants, we have started our descent. If you notice, we didn't have anything to really stress about because we had already put everything in. So Indy Center did come on, so unfortunately I had plans tonight or I would be staying on all night because it looks like VATSIM's going to be starting to light up a little bit as everybody gets home from the Friday, obviously. Everyone gets out of work, sets in for the long holiday weekend. Happy Labor Day, everybody. Wear all of your white outfits now, because apparently you're not allowed to wear white after Labor Day. So, you know, get in the last legs of your linen white shirts. Anyone else doing fantasy football this year? Got a fantasy football draft tonight coming up. It's a big deal for our league. We have a cookout, whole party. Big deal. So it's going to be super fun. Really looking forward to it. How about you guys? Drop it down in the comments what you guys are doing. How you're doing it. Maybe even some draft tips for me tonight. What do you think? Have some fun with it, guys. Alright guys, as we really get into our star here, you see us, we're hitting our current glide path. We're pretty good. We're right on the money here. We need to be hitting 14,000 by the time we get to trick, and we'll probably hit it. We'll go ahead and switch it over. The traditional transition period is 18,000 feet or flight level 180. But you can see it had us about 500 feet too high. So what I did was switch over to switched over to the actual barometric pressure there in Chicago, and put up our speed brakes so we could get back on the ball here. Let's refresh everything real quick. Just make sure that we got everything correctly dialed in as accurately as we could. And look, I'm glad I did, because we were 0.02 off on our barometric pressure. So we're gonna, there we go, 3016 now. So see, I'm glad I checked it, because that was probably 50 feet. Oftentimes if you end up in a rough or more of a firm landing, then very possibly the pilot might not have updated their ATIS as they're coming in. It's frowned upon, obviously, but I could see how it happens. You know, like, I can understand how one would get there, of course. So what did you guys think about the whole reading of the book? I'm going to give the video review and just see what we come up with, but let me know in the comments what you guys think about the idea in general of just kind of book on tape with a airplane cruising at altitude in the background for like longer haul flights. So it'd be when we're doing 8-hour, 6-hour flights. Let me know down in the chat or in the comments what you think we should be doing with it, where we should be going with it. Yeah, I would appreciate it. I know that. If you're getting any value out of today or just in general, you know, feel free to subscribe, hit that bell notification, because it's not, I don't really do anything on a schedule. Maybe one day I'll get things on a schedule. But yeah, no, like, subscribe, tell your friends, let them know that this Doc Hook guy's pretty cool to listen to. I would appreciate it. Channel would appreciate it. I think that's what we're supposed to be saying, right? Really getting down into altitude here. It's pretty. Pretty day over the central Midwest, it looks like. Pretty universally over the Midwest. I heard from couple weather reporters though. We've got a pretty significant cold front coming in. It can bring us down to record lows. I don't think we'll be using this anymore, so we'll go ahead and arm our ground spoilers and set our auto brake and turn on our FPV. That way it's coming in appropriately. Let's give this a quick check. For sure, guys. Let me know what you think about the reading the book. Kind of, the more I think about it, I kind of like it. But unless you guys don't end up liking my book, and then it's kind of like, oh my god, please stop reading. So definitely give me negative feedback just as soon as possible. You know what I mean? What are you guys doing for the long weekend? Anything exciting? Anyone got anything big planned? Any families coming into town? Let me know in the chat what you got going on. There we go. Here comes our... Let's see here. Hold on, I'll connect the dots for everyone. Glad we pinned everything so we can make quick work of this. Approach into... Oh goodness, how many times have we already updated that thing for it still need to reload? Come on. Alright. So you see over here, you see Sharn, whatever, at 5,000 feet. So we need to be at 5,000 feet by Sharn. Where do we start that? We start that at 9,000 feet at Barry. So let's see if we've got Barry plugged in. I don't know that I did that whole thing because, God, I would really just prefer to go this way, but I am flying online. So let's give a quick call out to the VATSIM people, see who all, if anyone is around me, and we'll just do this by the books. Oh yeah, there's 2 or 3 people in the air, so we should give a call out. Chicago area traffic, American 1070. We are coming in for runway 10 center via the Turtle 6 arrival. Chicago area traffic. Let's see. Oh, they do have an ATC set up. So let's go to that 127.5. Sometimes they'll have like an auto ATC or something set up, and you can tune into that. So let's see what we end up with here. If not, we'll just disconnect and we'll go. I mean, because it's not controlled. Let's disconnect and turn off our mode CT. We'll turn it all off. We'll say, nope, we are going silent. But let's see if we can still tune in. Well, no, I already disconnected, so we won't tune in. Not this time, because I didn't want to be rude. And it is rude to just kind of blast into an airspace on network, but not actively communicating with anyone. So I wasn't too sure the frequency I was putting out there when I was putting out there, so I'd prefer to just do it this way. But ladies and gentlemen, you can see we have passed the threshold of 10,000 feet. We're going to go ahead and nail that. For all the viewers out there that insist that landing lights are meant for the daytime, we are hitting everything, turning it all on. And what I'm going to do is, instead of go all the way down the line here, now, to be fair, if there was a traffic situation, right, if you were flying into real life ORD, they would have you basically out here circling wherever, maybe the Great Lakes, maybe back there where we saw on the Star for planes coming up on Turtle 6, all the way back here. So that is one way that you could really be more true to life. You would spend a lot more time in hold patterns, which would suck. So I'm very happy that's not the case. But even when flying on VATSIM, sometimes you end up having to hold, and that's often fun because you're joking and getting on, as the British might say. You're getting on with the folks online. Alright, let's take over. And remember to adjust our trim. How'd that Boeing be doing? And what I'm going to do, though, is from Rhino, I'm actually just going to have us go straight to Sharn. If anybody knows how to properly say that waypoint, please let me know in the chat, because I would love to stop calling it Sharn. So that's what we're going to end up doing. And why are we doing that? Because we can. And I've got things to do today. So this little pilot is in a rush. And this little pilot went all the way. Oh shoot, I'm in a fucking nosedive. Oops. Sorry folks, this is your Kent speaking. I was distracted. And no, I was trying to get through the cloud cover. Yeah, sure. Sure. But that's what we're going to tell the passengers. Yeah, you see those clouds outside? I was going to get under them for us, guys. That's all that nosedive was for. Don't worry about a thing. We will be okay. Now, bring that up just to about 4.5 is what I'm thinking. Alright, got our approach. We're good to start this thing. We're going 5-1. That's going to increase our drag too, which will be nice. It'll increase our lift, so we'll have to adjust our yoke for that. However, it will increase our drag too, so we can increase our angle of descent, right? Because we'll be descending slower with the increased drag and lift provided by the flaps. You see there where the nose just lifted on its own? Those are the flaps engaging and the more lift being produced. So what we're going to do is increase the angle that our nose is down, so our flap effect is mitigated. Alright, and we got clearance. We did actually get clearance from the auto ATC to carry on with our visual approach into runway 10 center according to flight plan, so I'm not in too much trouble. Alright, there we go. We're at 6,300 just about. We're going to start leveling off and getting our angle of attack correct. So then when we do get lined up on the runway, it'll just be a simple matter of kicking the landing gears down and landing in grace. Amen. It is a great day though. Get it out here. Alright folks, here we go. We're about to turn and get lined up on runway 10 Charlie here at ORD. We're just gonna put this thing down nice and softly after we get turned around. And let's see where we were supposed to be at 4 grand. See if we can continue this. So you see Sharon 5 to 6. Oh, there we go, 5 to 4. So we can go ahead and drop down to 4. And then it's 2300 to Ray. So we've got our glide path. Let's just continue our turn here. Go. We're gonna go flaps 2. Again, flaps 2. And also, there you again, feel it. It's the increased lift that's provided by the increased flap setting. So you have to compensate for that in your glide path or where you're holding the yokes. A lot of pilots do it with the trim. I prefer to just look out the window and do it with the stick. I don't know. It is probably the absolute incorrect way of doing things, but here we are, ladies and gentlemen. And that's just how I do it. So, you know, you can always go your own way. Go your own way. God, I gotta look up if that's against the rules or not. The singing poorly two well-known songs. Is that against it? There we go. We're at flaps 30. We're getting yelled at by the Boeing for not kicking down our landing gears. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. So maybe it'll stop bitching at us. We'll see that. But also we need to get on the runway lined up correctly. So let's get that done. The only reason I popped the landing gears now was because the Boeing was yelling at us. I would have kept it on, you know, down to 2,000. It don't take forever to get down in a 737. Like if it was the Airbus A340, yeah, you needs like 10 minutes to lower its landing gears, all of them. But a 737, not so much. So I disagree with whatever setting that is that makes that alarm go off. Drop it in the chat if you know whatever that is from Boeing, or if you're a Boeing engineer yourself, stop that. Okay, we get it. We know landing gears need to be down. What would you say? Acutely aware that landing gears are necessary for landing an airplane? I would say that. Do better. That's the term of the day, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Always be better. So if you're not doing something better, what are you doing? And in that same vein, let me know how I can improve this channel. Drop down in the comments any suggestions. Ooh, any good destinations that you guys might suggest would be awesome. Just let me know in the comments. And make sure you like this video. And, you know, drop some love in the comments for everyone. Especially if somebody, hey, if somebody does drop a prayer request, you guys respond to that prayer request, man. It takes a lot to put that out there, so when somebody does, you know that they're in a particular kind of area. So be a warm blanket for them, is what I'm getting at.
1,000.
There's some slight wind adjustments you see there on our
Light slow.
flight computer. Wind started kicking up just a little bit,
Light
so
slow.
we're just adjusting for that. The glide slope alarm's going off because I'm a whole like 20 feet below the glide slope, the recommended glide slope. So again, Boeing engineers, better. You can be so much better.
Light slow. Light slow.
Get over
Light
there,
slow.
jackass. Oh,
Light
the
slow.
wind's changed again. To be right off my
Light
nose
slow.
here, so we're gonna take that
Light
wing
slow.
correction out of there and put it
Light
back
slow.
to this.
Light slow.
There we go.
Light slow.
Now we're good to go.
Light slow. Light slow.
Shut up,
Light
GPWS.
Light slow.
That is the ground proximity
slow.
warning system.
Light slow.
That is
Light
telling me
slow.
glide slope,
Light
glide
slow.
slope, glide slope.
Light slow. Light
But
slow.
I also want to hit a
Light
certain
slow.
area of the
Light
runway
slow.
because we're having a competition, and GPWS does not understand that. So
100.
there we go. Oh shoot! I'm way. There we go.
30. 20. 10.
That's decent. Wonder how hard it was. Probably shouldn't say it in that phrasing. Wonder what my landing rate was. There we go. That's probably the proper way of saying things. And at Doc Cook Flying, ladies and gentlemen, we try to always be, if anything, fair, honest, and respectful. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here in Chicago.
Please keep your seatbelt fastened.
Let me know down in the comments what you thought, what your favorite part was of our trip from Dallas to Chicago here as we taxi to the gates. See beautiful O'Hare Airport coming in, named for the flying ace in World War II. Again, being an ace means he has shot down 5 enemy jets, or enemy, sorry, they weren't jets back then, but 5 enemy planes. That's pretty savage. Alright folks, well, I am signing off. This has been Doc Cook. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend.